You know what really gets under my skin? It's not hearing someone criticize the Patriots. It's watching people inside the NFL look at a Super Bowl run and act like the entire thing happened by accident. Today we're diving into an overlooked starter, a rookie who could earn his way onto the field with pure speed, a first-round pick carrying some deep scars, and an offensive weapon ready to explode. If you refuse to call 2025 a fluke too, hit like and subscribe. Foxboro isn't asking for favors. It's asking people to recognize what's right in front of them. The first one is honestly infuriating. Executives, coaches, and scouts took part in ESPN's annual survey of the best players in the league, and Mike Onwenu didn't crack the top 10. He didn't receive an honorable mention. He didn't even show up among the players who got votes. Nothing. For a player who held down the right side of the line while the protection collapsed in critical moments, that silence doesn't feel like a thoughtful evaluation. It feels like too many people decided what they thought about the Patriots before going back and watching the tape. I'm not saying Onwenu had to be ranked at the very top of the position. There are guards with the resume, dominant seasons, and reputation to make any top 10 extremely crowded. The absurd part is acting like he didn't belong in the conversation. In 2025, he allowed a 3.24% pressure rate, second among right guards and 8th among all guards, according to the numbers highlighted by Daniel Rotman. He surrendered 6 pressures across 4 playoff games. When Drake Maye started taking hit after hit in the postseason, Onwenu was the one part of the line that never lost its balance. That matches exactly what the team did this offseason. New England went directly after the spots that struggled. Garrett Bradbury was traded, opening the door for Jared Wilson to move back to center. Elijah Vera-Tucker arrived to take over at left guard, and Caleb Lomu was selected in the first round to strengthen the tackle options. Onwenu stayed. His old contract carried a major cap hit with no guaranteed money remaining, making him an obvious cut candidate. Instead, the two sides reworked the deal into 1 year, $10 million, with $8.95 million guaranteed. He accepted less money than he was scheduled to earn under the old agreement. In return, the Patriots kept the best pass protector on their 2025 offensive line. That detail tells you more than any survey ever could. Mike Vrabel and his staff watched every snap. They knew where the protection failed, who needed help, and who continued doing his job when the competition became tougher. Onwenu led the offense in total snaps, and from the Tampa Bay game forward, he allowed only 1 sack over 11 games, including the playoffs, according to the PFF evaluations cited in the original report. Offensive linemen live with a brutal irony. When they do everything right, almost nobody mentions their name. That kind of invisibility should be the reward for efficiency, not a reason to erase someone from a national ranking. Maybe this is where the lazy narrative surrounding the 2025 Patriots really reveals itself. A team doesn't win 10 straight games, go 9-0 in true road games, and reach the Super Bowl because of luck alone. That requires dependable players doing work that rarely gets the spotlight. Onwenu was one of them. Outside recognition can wait. Inside Foxboro, the answer already came through guaranteed money, another year, and genuine trust. Once the season starts, every clean pocket Maye gets will be another reminder of the player those voters overlooked. But not every player capable of changing a unit already has that kind of NFL proof. Some arrive at training camp still trying to turn potential into a legitimate role. And that's exactly where Namdi Obiazor stands. The linebacker out of TCU was selected in the 6th round with the 212th overall pick. He isn't walking in with the pressure of saving the defense. He brings something that might be even more dangerous to the players ahead of him in the competition. A very clear path to showing this coaching staff that he belongs on the field. Obiazor is 6'3", weighs 229 pounds, and ran the 40-yard dash in 4.53 seconds. Across 53 college games, he recorded 302 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 6 pass breakups. The numbers show you the production. His journey explains the versatility. He played cornerback and safety before developing into a linebacker. You can still see that background when he hunts down a play. He moves like someone accustomed to covering space, only now he has the frame to arrive with real force. Dane Brugler described his instincts against both the run and pass as average, and that is a legitimate limitation for a rookie who still has to process blocks, play action, and changes of direction at NFL speed. But Brugler also emphasized the pursuit speed and competitive toughness that lead to production, projecting that Obiazor could earn a role as a backup and special teamer. That second path could determine everything. Obiazor logged 322 special team snaps over 4 college seasons, mostly in kickoff and punt coverage. He made 11 tackles in that phase without being credited with 1 missed tackle. That's how a late-round pick becomes more than a developmental project. First, he earns trust in a phase where effort, lane discipline, and secure tackling become obvious immediately. Then he forces the coaches to find ways to put that speed to work on defense. With Robert Spillane and Christian Ellis ahead of him, the rookie doesn't need to enter camp demanding a starting job. He needs to prove he can cover, chase, pressure in specific situations, and make sure an active roster spot is never wasted on Sundays. I love this kind of bet because it feels like Patriots football. It doesn't rely on marketing or a famous name. It relies on a player handling more than one job, embracing the dirty work, and making it difficult for the coaches to leave him out of the plan. Obiazor already turned heads during rookie camp and minicamp. Once the pads come on, we'll find out whether that speed still appears against bigger blockers and real contact. If it does, the 6th round may have given New England far more than depth. It may have delivered a movable defensive piece and an immediate presence on special teams. This next part requires a little more emotional restraint because Will Campbell can't be evaluated only by the worst chapter of his season. Yes, the Super Bowl was brutal. According to Next Gen Stats, he allowed 14 pressures in that game, putting the rookie right at the center of a loss that hurt all across New England. A left tackle drafted 4th overall to protect Drake Maye doesn't get to run from that performance. But reducing Campbell to that single night would also wipe away everything that helped bring the Patriots there in the first place. Before suffering an MCL injury in Week 12, he had been a solid starter. The PFF evaluation cited by the Patriots' official website gave him a 71.4 grade, ranking 25th among 57 qualified tackles. After he returned, that grade dropped to 50.1 during the playoffs. That doesn't excuse the technical mistakes, but it changes the question. Instead of declaring that his shorter arms have already proven the pick was a failure, we need to ask how much of that decline came from a 22-year-old trying to survive without the same physical foundation against some of the best defensive fronts in football. The length debate isn't going anywhere. Campbell ranks in the 7th percentile for arm length and the 0th percentile for wingspan among the measurements cited in the analysis. Against NFL pass rushers, that reduces his margin for error. If his punch comes late, he loses first contact. If he gives away too much space to his inside shoulder, he opens a path to the quarterback. If his feet become frantic and lose control, his anchor can't access the power that should come from a 319-pound frame. No motivational speech can take the place of those corrections. There are still real, concrete reasons to believe in the leap. Campbell is athletic, changes direction well, and plays with an edge that fits Vrabel's offense. He became a captain early at LSU and started all 38 games he played. The work now is about turning that competitiveness into calmer feet, better timing with his hands, and more solutions in pass protection. New England has also stopped asking him to fix everything by himself. Vera Tucker is expected to line up beside him at left guard, while Jared Wilson moves to center. That could improve the communication against stunts and reduce the breakdowns that punish the left side. Caleb Lomu provides depth and competition, although the coaches have given no indication that Campbell's job is in jeopardy. He is still the plan. This time, he has more structure around him as he grows. And speaking as a fan, I don't want Campbell to forget the Super Bowl. I want him to carry that night without allowing it to define the ceiling of his career. Great tackles learn how to win when the opponent knows their weaknesses and attacks those exact areas. If he responds with technique, strength, and maturity, that scar stops being a sentence. It becomes the starting point of the transformation for the man trusted to protect the future of this franchise. If the line can give Maye one extra second, there's a player in that backfield who can turn the smallest sliver of daylight into 6 points before the defense has time to breathe. TreVeyon Henderson finished 2025 with 911 rushing yards, 5.1 yards per carry, and 9 rushing touchdowns. He added 35 catches for 221 yards and another score through the air. Even while playing only 46% of the offensive snaps, he topped 1,100 total yards. So seeing him ranked 3rd on Bleacher Report's list of running backs positioned for a breakout in 2026 isn't hype. It's a direct reaction to what he already showed. 4 of his rushing touchdowns came from more than 50 yards away. 4 plays that completely flipped the field, the scoreboard, and the energy of a game. Safeties hesitate. Linebackers have to respect every cut. One poorly filled gap becomes a desperate chase. Now place that inside the same offense as a more mature Drake Maye, with A.J. Brown demanding attention outside and Romeo Doubs giving the passing game additional answers. Henderson may find daylight much more often. There is a cost to earning more snaps, though: pass protection and trust as a receiver. Gary Davenport pointed out that those areas helped keep Ramondre Stevenson ahead of him in the workload split. Henderson has acknowledged that he's been working on both. I disagree with the idea that asking him to block is a total waste. Nobody wants the most explosive player on the roster stuck in the pocket. But if a defense knows he only enters the game to run or catch, the offense is handing away information before the snap. On third down, he has to identify pressure and protect Maye when the play calls for it. The real payoff isn't exchanging explosiveness for blocking. It's becoming dependable enough in protection to unlock all of that explosiveness. If Henderson can run an option route, catch the ball in space, threaten inside, or stay home to pick up a blitzer without revealing the call, Josh McDaniels gets to control how the defense responds. Reggie Gilliam and Stevenson can handle much of the heavy work, of course. But the ceiling of this offense climbs when Henderson stops being a clue and becomes a question the defense can't solve. Patriots fans, save this one for the critics. How many AFC offenses have an all-pro quarterback, a weapon like A.J. Brown, and a running back who already broke off 4 long touchdowns before mastering every part of the position? Drop your answer in the comments. Not because we're crowning anybody in July, but because the potential for 2026 is supported by real production from 2025. Henderson doesn't need 30 touches per game to have a breakout season. He needs better distributed opportunities, more trust in passing situations, and a line that can get him cleanly into the second level. If Campbell improves, if Onwenu keeps the right side stable, and if the new pieces settle the interior, every carry has a better chance of finding daylight. When Henderson sees daylight, the play doesn't finish with a 5-yard gain. It becomes panic. It becomes a foot race. It becomes the kind of touchdown that makes Gillette Stadium explode before he even reaches the goal line. All 4 stories arrive at the same place from different directions. The Patriots don't need to beg the league to believe in them. Onwenu has already responded with consistency. Obiazor will try to earn his role without shortcuts. Campbell has to turn a public wound into growth, and Henderson can turn greater trust into even more explosiveness. That's how a season stops being dismissed as lucky and becomes something repeatable. I want to know if you see a team better prepared to carry the weight of 2025. Leave your take, subscribe to Patriots Club fans, and stay with us for every answer. The respect that never arrived in July can be taken once the ball goes up.